Welcome, 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 everybody. This is Coach D. Durrell Spears here once again. This is the Coach D. Durrell Spears TV dating channel. And today I do have a treat for you. I have a very beautiful chocolate sister by the name of Cece that's going to talk about her dating experiences. She's going to talk about her dating life. She's going to give a perspective of how she sees things from her experience. I'm going to kind of reflect and give my positions on what she's saying and how things are going as being coach, as you may know. Again, also before we get started, I like to thank each and every one of you that have subscribed to the channel. For those who put comments in the comment section, I appreciate the love. I do appreciate those who have shared the video, and I appreciate the slow and steady growth of the channel. So at this point, guys, I'm going to bring upon the lovely Miss Cece. How you doing, Queen? How are you doing today?
I'm feeling good today. How are you?
I am excellent. I am excellent. So I am glad to finally have this opportunity to engage with you to kind of talk about your dating life. So Miss Cece, kind of talk about, tell everybody about Miss Cece. Kind of tell me a few things about yourself just to get things started.
Well, I'm 35 years old. I'm presently single. I have lived in actually Houston, Texas for about 10 years. And then I
Okay.
just have now recently moved to Atlanta.
Okay,
So,
cool.
looking for full-time work. But I haven't really been doing a lot of dating since I got out here. But yeah, just right now, I'm just single and getting my life in order.
Okay. So kind of tell me about what spawned the transition from Houston to Atlanta.
Well, it was actually involved with my dating life. I had been with a guy out there for close to 8 years, and things were just not working out. It actually was getting kind of dramatic and just kind of negative. So it
Okay.
really was just a new start for me.
Okay, so you now just getting started. So you are coming off of a long-term relationship,
Hmm.
and that relationship lasted 8 years.
Right.
Okay, now for starters, I know that I'm going to kind of go into some of the things that I talk about, and as we go into your experience, now one of the things I talk about because I've seen a recurrence of this as I've interviewed women and women that I see as far as me as a therapist for relationship therapy, for coaching, and so forth. I tend to see a lot of women that are in these long term relationships that end up fizzling out at the end, or they don't equate to marriage. Not that marriage has to be the goal for everybody, but
Right.
in my program, I teach women, primarily women, that if he ain't put a ring on it in 2 years, something's not right. And I tell women, and the reason why I say it is because let's just think about it, CC. Think of all the emotional investment you made in this man, the time, the effort, the love, the emotion. 8 years is a long time to invest in somebody, and it just
Oh
fizzles out.
yeah. I would never do it again. You just as a younger woman, sometimes you're not aware. You don't realize that what you're giving is so valuable, and the commitment is so valuable. And sometimes marriage is a little intimidating, especially if you didn't see a good marriage coming up.
Right?
So I didn't. I don't know if I even thought it was going to be even into a marriage, even though we were together for so long. And I didn't know as much about life as I do now, so I
Right.
wouldn't do it again, and I definitely wouldn't recommend it to a younger lady either.
Okay, so let's talk about how old were you when you began dating him?
I met him when I was about 23 years old, and he was about 10 years older than me.
Oh, so this is an older man.
Yeah.
Okay, now not too much because women typically date 5, 10, maybe up to 15 years. So that's not out of the ordinary. But was this guy ever married or divorced or anything like that prior to dating you?
He's never been married.
Okay. Okay. So what was his intentions? Or what did he tell you his intentions were?
I mean, we honestly started out all wrong. He had actually ended up moving with moving in with me at first, and it did get to a serious point where I think we both were considering it, but it just, financially things never really improved after a certain amount of time, and I should have known then that he wasn't really serious about having a life with me,
Okay.
and I should have taken that as my cue to exit.
Now you said financially. So are you stating that he was pretty stagnant or he wasn't serious about trying to improve himself? He wasn't financially where you would want him to be in order to have a family or build?
Well, I wasn't really looking to have kids. He already had one son that was honestly just getting out of high school. So I
Okay.
don't think we were really looking to have kids, but he wanted to be more of an entrepreneur. I was using my CDL driving commercially at the time,
Right.
but he just made some decisions that I could see that he was not very serious about things financially. He had came into some money, and he just ended up wasting a majority of it on some foolishness. And so it was like I should have known at that point too. Like, he's not responsible. Even with this lump sum of money, he didn't take it and make it out to be something that it could have been. So I should have seen that, he wasn't a good decision maker at that time.
Right, right. So how many years into it did you recognize that? It's okay. I mean, the truth, I mean, the reality is the reality. It's a learning lesson, so it's okay to, as you reflect.
And in the beginning, I will say he was a little bit more motivated and he was a little bit more disciplined. But I guess after the time went on, I felt like he was leaning on me a little bit as well. So that's another thing I would say for ladies is, what is a man's intentions when he wants you to go 50-50? Because sometimes I think that they feel like, well, I know that I don't have to go as hard because I know she's got the other half of it, so I don't really have to, do as much.
So he wanted to go 50-50?
We went 50-50 for probably half of the relationship.
Wow, that to me that's another red flag. So now let me ask you this. Are you fine before you even were you fine with going 50-50? First of all, let's establish that.
Thank you.
Huh?
I said thank you.
I said, did you want to go 50-50?
Oh, no.
Okay, so explain to me why you agreed to it.
I mean, I felt like we had to. We had to pay the bill. And he just, I guess I thought that because he was older, he'd be more responsible, but he didn't want to take on that responsibility.
Okay. So you're telling me you was in a relationship with a man. Now, I would expect a younger guy, being you're in I can understand a guy maybe in his early mid-20s because they're not as established. But this guy was 10 years older than you, and he was basically like, let's go 50-50. That had to have been like, I'm assuming that you dated this guy who's older. You probably dated other older guys.
No, honestly, he was the oldest guy that I have dated seriously.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So yeah.
But have you dated guys that were older than you on average before you got with him?
Yeah, I tend to generally date older men, so I would say that. But he was just the most serious relationship as far as living together, as far as meeting each other's family. So it was a more serious relationship.
Okay, I get that. So, sound like you saw a lot of red flags, right?
What was that?
Red flags. Sound like there were some red flags that you were kind of seeing, but you didn't necessarily I don't know if you were overlooking it or you were trying to think that it was going to get better. Like that thing, because I'm hearing just right off the bat, there's, not very industrious, not about his money, wanting 50-50, kind of linking you on with not telling you what his true intentions were, whether he was going to make you his queen for life or not.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
No, Well, that's the thing. When you're a young woman and you don't really have a good example, sometimes you don't really know what mold you're looking for. You just find someone that you enjoy spending time with, and you think that, well, we like to be around each other. Maybe we can make a relationship work. And come to find out that it takes a lot more than that. And you definitely have to be intentional as a woman and say, these are my standards. This is what I want. But, as a young woman, you can be a little intimidated by doing that because you
Mhm.
didn't see your mother do it. You didn't see other women around you do it. You saw them
Right.
accept whatever it is that a man presented to them. And so it's kind of new territory for you to say, this is what I want. And if you don't do it, then I'm, going to walk away from this relationship.
Right. That's interesting. Was there a point where you was wondering, because this is 8 years, this is almost a decade. So what point did you think, because you did say you never really thought about whether or not, or I don't know if it was concerned, but it sounds like you were okay with not being married. If it didn't come up, it didn't come up, or did it ever cross your mind? Was there any discussions? Was there pressure from the family? Kind of talk to me about that dynamic, whether or not, as far as marriage being on the table, seriously.
Sure. Yeah, I had thought about it at a point when we were getting along well, but our relationship was just so inconsistent that honestly, the idea of marriage was not a good thing for me. I wanted to be with him, I think, because I was comfortable with him,
Okay.
but the idea of marrying him kind of scared me because I'm like, we're just not secure enough for me to want to be married to him.
Now, when you say you're not secure with him, I'm hearing you wasn't secure financially, because you kind of led the conversation with the financial aspects or lack thereof, and his misappropriation of the lump sum of money and things. Sounds like you want someone that was going to be able to want to grow and do
I mean, it was definitely financial. That
things.
was a big part of it, but it was also just our relationship. It was like sometimes he felt he had some insecurities of his own, and you know, I definitely had some maturing to do, but I was committed to him, so I wasn't. I'm not gonna take the blame for why we didn't work out. I just feel like the financial part, and I feel like just him not really having any goals in regards to our relationship.
So we stopped where you discussed about you were as far as what I was talking about from a financial standpoint, and you recognizing things, and you said it wasn't just you said there was a lot of instability in the relationship itself. Okay,
Yeah,
so
there was.
when did these inconsistencies come about? Like at what point within the relationship?
I would say the first 2 years were pretty good. He was very committed. He was excited about the relationship. I was excited about the relationship. We used to go out all the time, and we just really enjoyed being with each other. But
Okay.
we were both pursuing some different careers. I was into music, and um, he kind of had his hands in a few different things, but he was supposed to be kind of managing me, and I think that made it more difficult as well because
Managing
some
you,
things
or you're
that
in the entertainment business or something, or
yeah, I was recording music at the time.
okay, cool. So he was your manager and partner.
Well, we tried that out, and it didn't really work out. But
Okay.
yeah, he attempted to be my manager for a period of time, and
Okay.
I think that might have added a little layer of stress because you definitely see how somebody thinks, and then I'm around a lot of other men, and he had some insecurities about that also.
He had some insecurities about that.
Yeah, he did.
So basically you're saying he didn't like you around a lot of men.
Yeah, he would imply things, or he would just sometimes he would just like a insecure moment. He would just flare up if we were in the studio and make us both look crazy, pretty much.
Wow. Well, I mean, let's face it. I mean, you are a very attractive woman. He know how other men think, and you know how the music industry is. I mean, there's a lot of flirting, a lot of things go on in those environments.
Yeah, that's true. But we live together. I mean, at the end of the day, I had never done anything for him to question me. So I feel like, if you're really about business and we're really trying to do this, you have to be secure in yourself and in what we got going on.
Okay. So okay. So the first, you say within 2 years things were good. Then things start becoming a little bit more unstable and things of that sort. You start learning more about him, seeing where he's going with things. Wanted to know what is the end game in this. So what kind of led to the relationship dissolving?
The arguments, they just started getting more and more out of control. And, I had got another place. I had ended up moving off of DeSoto out there. And, it got to a point where he definitely wasn't paying all the bills. He wasn't really even contributing very much. And I just was so frustrated with the arguing and with his lack of being able. I mean, I can give you an example. He wanted to start a lawn care business. I had put a little bit of money into it to help him get it started. We
Right.
had to outsource some of the jobs so that we could, get it rolling. He would he would quit the job. He would say it wasn't paying enough. He would just make it so difficult to get anything, just to get it started, just to get some kind of income coming in. And I'm just like, if this is what you wanted to do, you have to start from the bottom. Why are you making it so hard, to the point now we can't even work with this outsource because they're tired of you flaking on the job.
Right.
It was just such a headache, and I'm like, you're too old to be acting like this. And I just, it just ended from there.
So it sounded like you were beginning to have a lot of reservations. It seems like to me you were putting out a lot financially and emotionally into this. Like there's a lot of financial strain on you trying to help him get things together.
I've never really had, my dad wasn't a provider like that. So, I don't think I even expected for a man to lead in that area. And
Really?
I think it's still something that, if you've never been exposed to it, you don't really, it's kind of like it's not real. You know what I mean? And so
Okay.
I wanted to believe that it could happen.
So are you saying that pretty
I didn't hear you. It cut out. I'm sorry.
Are you there?
Yes, but I didn't
Hello?
hear your question.
Are you there? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. I was asking, in a relationship, you was kind of expecting to carry a heavy load financially?
I mean, I don't really want to, but
No. But that was what I'm saying was that your mindset is what I'm asking.
not really. It's that I don't expect him to. It's not that I want to. It's just that I'm used to men that aren't able to.
Okay.
So it's like I kind of in the back of my mind, I'm kind of like, well, I'm gonna have to come up with, this or that, or in case they don't, I'm gonna have to come up with this.
Okay. So let's talk about your dating choices. And you were young at the time, so I mean, you were dating men in their early 20s or whatever, because you started dating him at 23. So I would say at that time you probably had men that probably were not into their careers; they were in the infant stage of that. Would that be correct, or correct me if I'm wrong?
If I was dating men my same age,
Like when you were an adult, yeah, like around before you started dating him, you were dating younger men that probably were not, they were just getting their careers or just really getting started in life.
I could say that. We weren't as serious either, so that was another thing. But yeah.
Okay. Now, what led to ending the relationship?
I mean, it was really pretty bad. It was just a lot of drama. There was just a lot of arguing, and the police had to get involved. And at that point, I just knew, I'm like, it's never gonna get any better. It's
Okay.
probably gonna just get worse. I don't want to, be in a situation where I'm stressed out, where I'm arguing all the time, every time that we're around each other. So I ended up going back home with my family for a little while, and then
Okay.
that's when I came back and made the move to Atlanta.
Now, when I'm hearing that there was potential, like there was some domestic violence going on. Police got involved.
Well, I don't really want to talk about that because
Okay.
it brings up, But yeah, it definitely took a turn for the worse.
Okay. So it sounds like to me that was a period of some level of a traumatic experience. It was pretty traumatic at the end.
It was, yeah.
Okay. All right. So we're not going to delve into that. I just asked that because these are some of the things I do talk about as a coach, as a therapist. I do talk about all dynamics, the good, the bad, and the ugly of relationships. And I do understand in relationships, domestic violence related situations do occur. And they can occur a lot often than what we think. So I just, we're going to move past that. So let's talk about the fact that you made I would say, decision to move based on this relationship.
Well, I wouldn't say that now. I was an artist when I was in Houston, and I've always been into music. So Atlanta's always had an appeal to me aside from the ending of my relationship with my ex.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So that's not the only reason. I've
Okay.
always been drawn to Atlanta. Yeah.
Okay. Now, when you decided to move to Atlanta, was there also a financial aspect of him possibly doing other things to have other, I guess, entrepreneurial opportunities?
You saying for me?
No, for him.
I mean, I knew if I went back to Houston, we had been together a long time, so I just knew that it wouldn't have been the best place for me to try to, restart. That's
Okay.
just really what it was, Houston is a great place, and I still would, love to go out there at some time, but just to live out there right now, it just wouldn't be the best for me.
Okay. I get that. So when the relationship ended, you moved on, you felt like it was getting too stressful, too much drama, all this craziness happened. How did you make it, like, how did you heal from that? Was there any healing after that relationship?
It's taken a lot of time just for me to kind of look and dig within myself and kind of pick up some of the pieces that I lost of myself in that time.
Right.
And I'm still doing it, but I've definitely come a long way from it because I've really had a bad perspective of men kind of ever since that, and it kind of made it worse because you would think that as long as we had been together that some of those things would have not went as far as they did, but it still happened. So I question my judgment. It's been a traumatic experience that I'm glad I'm, with the help of God, overcoming.
Okay, so he's kind of, you still have some negative perceptions of men based on that relationship.
Definitely, because I didn't have the best perspective of men, from my dad. So to kind of get with another man and have had him in my life for so long, and then it had not been the way that I thought it was going to be, it kind of was just like solidifying this negative perspective that I had.
All right. So, how long ago have you ended the relationship? How long ago has it been no longer dated him at all?
You said how long has the relationship been?
The relationship, yes.
It's been about a year and a half now.
Okay, so it's been a year and a half going on. Have you decided to get back into the dating scene, or have you just been to yourself, focusing on you? Like, where are you at now with dating after that?
You know, I had did some dating within this year and a half, and I probably shouldn't have. You know,
Okay,
I don't think I even realized the, effects that it may have had on me. So I
okay,
probably should have taken a little bit more time to myself to really gather myself. But I have
okay,
done a little dating.
okay. So it sounds like to me like how long did it take you? Like a month or two, a few months, 6 months dating, or you just quickly start wanting to date other guys?
I mean, it's like I kind of would look at it like if somebody was trying to holler at me, a man was trying to holler at me, if I thought, he was appealing or whatever, then I would just go ahead and see, what could happen. But,
Right.
instead of doing that, I probably should have just said I'm not dating right now, because just because somebody, shoot their shot don't mean that I have to,
Oblige.
receive it.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. Okay. So would you say that when you entered those relationships, you still were thinking about the previous relationship, or were you kind of like acting out in anger or things like that? You kind of was outside of your character with the other guys?
Yeah, my patience has been really bad. I kind of be, paranoid. I think that they up to no good all the
Right.
time. Um, I don't think that they're gonna treat me the way that I would want them to, and then that just sets the tone because maybe they did have good intentions, but I won't even really give it the opportunity because I just have this like negative filter on relationships on men.
Right. You said a key thing that's a lot in my profession. When you said that that's the way that I'm supposed to be treated or want to be treated, right?
Mhm.
Now, how are they supposed to know that?
How they supposed to know how I want to be treated?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like they have a general sense of how to treat a woman.
Okay. What is it?
I mean, with respect,
Okay.
like I'm the prize, and like I'm worth all the effort that is required to date me and to woo me.
Okay. So the reason why I'm asking you that because what you just stating can be very different from another woman or other women, and that I understand there's a general sense of what the way a man is supposed to treat a woman, but in this day and age, some of the things that you talked about are not necessarily being practiced by, or that's not necessarily even a standard by a lot of women. Like as I've looked at things as far as women, particularly around your age and even younger, a lot of women are not looking at being wooed. A lot of women are not looking at, as far as even the loyalty and things of that sort. A lot of women, we have a hookup culture, a lot of casual sex going along. I mean, you get my drift. What I'm saying that there's a lot of guys.
It's changed because as a woman, we just have went through so much with men, and we've kind of started to feel like we don't want to go with the being as virtuous because what is the benefit if you're the good woman that sits at home and is loyal to one man and
Mhm.
you don't go out and act wild and you're not dressing real sexy and you're conservative, you ended up getting cheated on. You ended up, he's treating you not that great and you're paying half the bills or maybe more. So it's like, well, if you're gonna take on if you're gonna why be good basically is what the women are kind of feeling now. Like, hey, I'm gonna do what I want, I'm gonna turn up like a man because y'all ain't no good to be in a relationship with no way.
So let me get. So you kind of talk about why be conservative, right? Why be the good woman? Why be loyal? Why be the stay at home? And my answer to that, and as I've told a lot of women that kind of relook at why act a certain way that's supposed to be the proper lady per se, right? And so my answer is you date and you interact with men who value that. And the problem is that a lot of women like yourself and others, They attract guys who pretend to want those things, or they have a track record of not dating them.
I
And so
mean,
the guys who want that are not always deemed as the most, I'm not going to say attractive physically, but are not the most attractive or the most, I would say, valued.
I feel like women, we don't prioritize men's looks as much as men prioritize ours. I'm not saying
Right.
we want
I
a
agree
new
with
type of
that.
man, but yeah, but we, if he's not the most handsome man, but he's really good to us and he's really, a genuine man, I would prefer that over, a man that looks really good and I know he's, going to be cheating on me 3 times a week.
Right.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
So my position is like, those things that you talked about, I encourage women to make that a primary discussion to vet men who actually are looking at them. Because the way the hookup culture is now, guys are very open about if they just want to Netflix and chill. They're very open about they just want a friends with benefits situation. They're very open about, hey, I'm not really for marriage. I'm not about the state thing or government thing. I just want whatever. I'm seeing more and more of this, particularly not just on social media, but also within my practice, but also within the dating realm of people who contact me and ask me things in regards to dating. I see a real between those who want a long-term relationship, but they're constantly dating people who don't want a long-term relationship. Or I see guys that, have trouble being with women that, they claim they want an open relationship or they want, it's always somewhat of we're dating people that don't want the same things that you want personally. And I see a huge occurrence of that where you're not dating what you're looking for. You're dating based on other things, a variety of other things, but the core key things that you just talked about, right? And so what's the alternative? If you're not going to be good or conservative and all those things, what's the alternative for you? What do you feel is the alternative?
That's a good question, because if you don't really see a future of ending up with a man that's going to be loyal and y'all are going to be happy together, then I guess I feel like a lot of women are embracing being independent. You could say some of them will get on there like the Kevin Samuel supporters and say you're going to die alone, get a cat or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, would I rather be treated, in a way by a man that I'm not happy with? What is so wrong if I ended up alone? I don't necessarily want to, but at the end of the day, it feels like men feel like you have to make so many, you have to settle for so many things if you decide you want to be with a man. Yeah.
Well, you don't have to settle for anything, first of all. Second thing is that most women don't want to be alone. So when we talk about that, and see, independence, and this is the thing where people misconstrue, independence doesn't mean you have to be by yourself. There are plenty of independent women who thrive in a relationship. They just have a certain level of independence that they function from that actually helps the relationship thrive. And so we have a tendency to make independence synonymous with being alone. And that doesn't have to be the case. But in that independence, you have to have a certain level of flexibility. You have to have a certain level of cooperativeness. You have to have a certain level of being able to work as a team and collaborate. Kind of like what you wanted in your previous relationship. You wanted a guy that could do some of those things. He wasn't able to do that. He wasn't stable enough. He wasn't consistent enough, right?
That's true. Yeah.
Right. So I kind of encourage women to kind of think about these phrases that are being thrown out, and as it repetitively programs you to think a certain way. And then I say, let's look at it particularly how it relates to you. Let's not think about all the other women, but let's say what would work for you. And so what would work for Cece? What would be the best course of action for you? What type of relationship could be molded so that you and whoever you supposed to be could be happy? Because what will work for you is not going to be relative to what will make somebody else happy.
Right. I definitely want a man that thinks outside of the box.
Okay.
I would want a man that is older than me. I tend to prefer that.
Okay.
And an entrepreneur. I want somebody that doesn't have to, that is not too imprisoned by like societal norms. Because
Right.
I'm a person that, I'm unconventional in that kind of way. So,
Okay.
but yeah, just a guy that doesn't let the society dictate his thoughts and his opinions.
Good. Okay. So right now for you did say trying to get some things together. So right now, financially, are you okay? Like, are things good for you right now in Atlanta, or is everything working in your favor right now?
I have some opportunities that are coming my way that I haven't really taken off as of yet, but I'm making it. It's not the best situation right now, but I know it's going to improve pretty soon.
Okay. All right. So, right now you're dating, but nothing necessarily serious, right? Nothing really worth sustaining.
I'm not even really dating right now, to be honest.
Okay. You've been more focusing on career right now, career.
Yeah, on myself and on my career, because just the last few times that I've tried to date, I've definitely seen that I'm still not all the way over the trauma, and it's really not been fair to even some of the guys that I have that have been trying to pursue me, because when I was back home with family, I had met a nice guy, and I really was dead in the trauma at that time, and he
Right.
really did kind of get he got the backlash from that, you know what I mean, and he didn't really deserve it. So it's really important to heal first.
And I say to you that's a lot of, I'm getting a lot of growth. The fact that you have admitted to, like you said, he got the backlash. That's a lot of growth to admit that you made some mistakes in trying to date and the way that those relationships ended. Because a lot of people don't like to admit their wrongs in a relationship. So that shows a sign of movement.
Yeah, to be honest about it. And no point in lying about it.
It's hard. You hear me?
Oh, you had cut out for a second.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the Wi-Fi is horrible. It was going in everywhere. So, okay, so we're going to go ahead and wrap this interview up. It's been an excellent interview. You've definitely been a pleasure to talk to. So, right now, as we speak, are you open to dating right now, or are you going to continue to just focus on?
I think it's going to be pretty soon. I feel like by the summer I'll be ready to go out and date. But I do want to get things together on my end, because I don't want to come with too much baggage. So yeah, I'm thinking the summertime I'll be ready to get back out here again.
Okay, well, I'm definitely going to have to revisit seeing you again in maybe the mid to late summer to see how things are going. Because what I am doing is that I do interval interviews months later, just to kind of see how things were since the last interview. See if, for those who are looking, did they find somebody? Did anything, did they find somebody worth being with? Or is their situation better? I kind of like to do that to kind of keep posts on people to see if things, to see how things are going long term.
Well, definitely, it's thank you for having me, and I wouldn't mind, you checking back in sometime in the future and seeing how things are going with me.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to do that. So, with that being said, guys, any last words you like to say before we wrap up?
No, it was a pleasure, and made me kind of introspect, so I'm glad I did it.
Good. Okay. But this is Coach, guys. This is my dating life. Today we were talking to the lovely Miss Cece. I look forward to interacting with you all in the future, guys. Again, please subscribe for those who are new to the channel. Please subscribe and share the video. You all have a great day. Peace.